The San Francisco 49ers were able to squeak out a win at Seattle, but it was not without cost. And they get to fly to New Orleans, take on Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints, who lost to the Arizona Cardinals in week one. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we are going to break down this game and also provide our predictions at the very end. So be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why, and hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. So, as I said, Niners, they are 1-0. The Saints are 0-1. Spencer Rattler getting his first full start with the healthiest Saints team that he's ever had. If we're being completely fair, like all the stats we saw from Spencer Rattler last year, in full fairness to them, and I'm a Falcons fan, so I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can here. I mean, he was playing with second and third string guys because the Saints just got so banged up last year. And unfortunately, the injury bug might have hit them again a little bit here as Felice Fuanga, he left the game against the Cardinals. And so I have to see with a knee injury. So I have to see what his overall status is going into this game here. But the Niners, they also got hit pretty hard with the injury bug, as well as both George Kittle and Jawan Jennings both went out of the game as well. George Kittle hurting his hamstring and Jawan Jennings hurting his shoulder also. So they were still able to squeak out a win. Really, really lucky throw by Brock Purdy, that touchdown winning throw, if we're being completely honest. But still, hey, he caught the ball, so able to win 17-13 against the Seattle Seahawks. Ryan, sitting here looking at the Saints, the Niners, I think they're trying to hang on for as long as they can, but I feel like a rebuild's coming up for them here soon, especially now that they have their quarterback. They paid for the guy here as well,
Yeah.
and they paid for Brandon Ayuk, and they moved on from some other guys here. So trying to see if they can find lightning in a bottle one more time. While the Saints, they're in the full rebuild mode here, trying to see if Spencer Rattler's going to be the guy, trying to see if Tyler Shock's the guy, I think. And so what are your overall thoughts on both of these teams kind of coming into the offseason, what you saw today as well, and what both teams need to do to be victorious here in week two?
Yeah, the 49ers was a tough watch. It looked like a shell of a team that they used to be. Christian McCaffrey isn't quite as quick. George Kittle left the game with a hamstring injury and finished the game in street clothes. It's just been tough, and I think they're going to need a major. I don't want to say rebuild for them because they have the quarterback. I still think that defense is pretty good. So maybe just like a restructuring. Maybe they have to move on from some guys and accumulate some first round draft picks and take a year or two to get back to the level that they were at. But I think for them, it really just depends if Brock Purdy can elevate this team even more. Can they get to a point where he is taking this team to the next level rather than being elevated by the supporting cast that was around him? He has the contract now that I think he should be doing that.
Yeah.
But instead of just being that point guard where he's dishing the ball around to all the playmakers, he now needs to be the one making plays. And so I think for me, that is what it comes down to with the 49ers. They're also extremely injured right now. They are probably the most injured I remember a team being coming into a season.
Well, if you think about it, just quickly to that point, like Brandon Ayuk didn't play in this game. So let's say
Yeah,
if Kittle and Juwan Jennings go on IR as well too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we're looking. It's going to be Ricky Pearsall and Christian McCaffrey. Is like
yeah,
that's going to be.
exactly.
I'm trying to think of this. They do have Russell Gage. They have a couple other guys, but yeah, like nothing. Nothing crazy, so to
Yeah.
say. Outside of those
It,
guys.
and so for me, I think that's just the biggest thing with the 49ers is they're very injured. Brock Purdy now has a larger contract, so they aren't able to surround him with all of the weapons that they once had. Going to the Saints are in they're in year one, they're game two of a full on rebuild. In my opinion, I think this offensive line uh, is okay. I am nervous about the Tlise Fuanga injury. He was one of my top favorite prospects a couple years ago in the draft. And so I think that's going to be something to monitor, especially a team that has two young quarterbacks that are going to be starting there. Alvin Kamara is quickly approaching 30, if he isn't 30 already. And so this defense is aging as well. So to me, they're in year one of a full rebuild. I think this next offseason, they're going to probably cut a lot of veteran players and really try to go out and replace replace them with a lot of young talent. So I think they're just in a mode of finding out who is good, who he can play with, who fits Kellen Moore's system. And yeah, I think I hate to say it like this, but I think winning games for Saints fans is secondary. I think you're looking for the moral victories this year of like what can they do well and build on. And I think that's just kind of what the Saints are. I thought Arizona, that game was competitive for a little while, but when Arizona was ready to win, I think they just kind of took control of
Well,
that game.
and so I think that's one thing that they could hang their hats on. I mean, they did hold this passing game to just 163 passing yards. Now they gave up
Yeah.
146 rushing yards. Yes, that's kind of what the Cardinals are known for.
Mhm.
But still, though, I think that's something that they can go improve, especially too when you go and make an investment in a guy like Justin Reed in the offseason. You're going to want to keep on want to make sure that this that our secondary
Yeah.
is good and can lock down on guys here. So I think that's going to be one saving grace going into this game. Here is we're recording this Sunday night after all these games, and these are coming out Monday morning or Monday afternoon. So I have to monitor the status though. But especially with hamstring, I'm assuming that George Kittle is not going to be playing as well. Brandon Ayuk is not going to be playing. Drawn Jennings, maybe he can fight through a shoulder injury, but let's just say for a second these three guys are not in there, holding a team to 163 passing yards 2 weeks in a row is a good thing to keep hanging your hat on and keep on improving
Yeah.
that defense. And that's one of the things too as well. Like their defensive coordinator Brandon Staley, say what you want about his let's say coaching decisions when he was at the Chargers. They always had a pretty solid defense overall. They
Yeah, it
they
was
did
pretty
give up
good.
a lot of yards. So and people are going to clip this. He was uber aggressive. And I think he didn't set his team up strategically for success with time management and everything like that. I think from a defensive standpoint, though, I do think he can set like if that's his sole focus, the defense coordinator setting up plays and scheming. I do think that like he will excel there. I do think that he can have the Saints defense going back to that top notch form that we were seeing here. And it's similar though to Dennis Allen. Say what you want, about the last coach as well, but it's still pretty solid on the defensive side of the ball. It was that head coaching side, like the in-game decisions where there were some struggles. So
Yeah.
I think Brandon Staley focused on the defense. Kellen Moore, Doug Nussmeier are going to focus on the offensive side of the ball and continue to keep on building this organization from there. And so, and as long as you guys never get as good as the Falcons, which frankly that is kind of a low bar as right now, in my opinion. But like I think you guys are going to be going through this rebuild here, well, and you guys have already found some replacements. I think in the running back department with what's the guy's name? Kendrick Miller's going to be able to replace Alvin Kamara as well too. Whenever that time does come, that's why you drafted him
Yeah.
there. So that's the Saints for the Niners here. It is going to be extremely interesting. Just what the injury bug looks like. I know Trent Williams came out of the game for a little bit, but it came back in. So he's also just getting up there in age, just in general. And so how's his body doing overall? How's this offensive line going to hold up still? And so this is by no means now, especially this is by no means a cakewalk for San Francisco. I think if everybody's full and healthy and everything, I think it would be easy, or easier. But even Arizona, a team that has a lot better skill position players, just better talent on the team. Well, it was a one score game going into the Superdome. So this is going to be a fun week 2 matchup here. Gonna have to monitor the injury status overall. I still think I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers in this one. It's not going to be a pretty game. I think it's going to be a big
No.
grinded out game. I think it's going to be pretty defensive focused, mainly because the Niners might be a little too injured, I think, to like play the offense that they want. And I think this Niners defense is going to make it tough for Spencer Rattler and company.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm going to lean heavy into this 49ers defense to pull this one out. I think looking at what they did to Seattle, I have a feeling they'll be able to kind of hold this offense in check here. And even with the injuries, I think that this offense will be able to do enough for the 49ers to come out ahead. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the San Francisco 49ers? Will it be the New Orleans Saints? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.